So fundamentally, what Ayurveda is saying that at the basis of all life is consciousness or being. Being is another name for consciousness. And if you think about it, we're human beings. That's an expression we use all the time. We might never stop to consider what does that mean, but that means that you are being, existence, or consciousness in the form of a human. You have a human nervous system to express that divine intelligence, and that divine intelligence is expressed through you. But that intelligence is a non-material field. It's not a substance. It's a non-material field of consciousness. And that's what modern science, I'm not going to go into that too much, but for those of you that are into unified field theory or, follow all of that information there, modern science is striving to come up with the right mathematics to describe the unified field. And they've been unifying different force fields and matter fields down throughout the years, and they now have string theory and M theory to handle those things. I'm not saying it's fully there yet, but it's certainly the search for the unified field is definitely one of the biggest things in science these days. But that unified field, from our perspective, is consciousness, and that consciousness manifests itself into all the things that exist in the universe, all the diversity that exists in the universe. And take a look at the word universe. It's made up of two words: unity of diversity. That's what universe means. Unity is the field of being. It is the field of consciousness. It is the divinity within you. And the diversity is then the way it's expressed, all the different things that we see, all the different colors, all the different people, all the different manifest variety of life. Now, what Ayurveda says is that field of consciousness essentially manifests through five main elements, and they are earth, air, fire, water, and space. So earth, air, fire, water, and space. And that those five elements combine in different quantities in everything that we experience. So obviously water is predominantly water, and fire is predominantly fire. And human beings are made up of these five elements. But what they do is they express themselves in different ways, in different quantities. Some people can have what they would call a lot of the fire element, and some people could have a lot of the air or the space element, and some people could have a lot of the earth element. And what Ayurveda does is it combines these into what they call the three doshas. And the three doshas are Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And everybody has some of all of the three doshas within them, but some people are more predominant in one than in the other. So a very thin, quick-moving person with a lot of anxiety and a lot of prone to worry and prone to constipation, you could say that person has a lot of Vata in them. A very fiery person, a very impatient person, very intelligent and very, likes to be in control, but when out of balance, they're more obsessive and prone to anger. That person could be said to have a lot of the fire element in them, a lot of pitta in them. And then a person that is maybe of a heavier build and slower moving and a bit more lethargic, but very loving and very compassionate person could be said to have more of kapha within them. So understanding these three doshas is fundamental to your understanding of Ayurveda. And we're going to be going over them again and again and again in the coming weeks, okay? Because I've got to say this from the outstart. This might seem like it's very abstract or whatever, but all diseases known to humankind are associated with an imbalance in Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So disease is imbalance in the doshas. And just look at the word disease. It's dis-ease. The system is no longer at ease with itself. So all diseases are as a result of an imbalance of Vata, Pitta, Kapha within a person. And obviously, if you're more Vata, you're more prone to Vata disorders. So Vata disorders would be things like anxiety, worry, constipation, arthritis, a lot of the diseases the elders get like Parkinson's, dementia, all of these things. If you're more Pitta like me, if you're of a Pitta nature, then you could become more prone to Pitta conditions, which would be, maybe getting anger, skin diseases, ulcers, all those type of things. And if you're more Kapha has the least amount of diseases associated with it, then you could be, but there's some of them are pretty nasty, things like depression and obesity and being overweight. So as I say, all diseases are associated with an imbalance of Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and very simple things can help you to balance the doshas, and very simple things can put those doshas out of balance. So I'm going to bring you back to the website to show you where you can find out more about Vata, Pitta, Kapha, but I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to go back to that a little bit later. So what I'm going to do is maybe hand over to the doctors. I think you're all unmuted. Dr. Brennan, are you unmuted there?
Yeah, I am.
And
No,
Dr. Nahid, you're not.
Rajvinder and Rahid are muted.
Okay, Dr. Nahid, you should be unmuted now.
The question
Yes.
they're powering in, and Nahid and Rajvinder have been busily typing back answers, which is great to see. Rohit, um, what combination is needed for someone who has eczema? Well, that's the difficulty with our Ayurveda. As you go on, you begin to have more and more insight. So just immediately, you cannot say. But when you get to know the qualities, if somebody's a very dry eczema, they may be more vata. If they have a very red, hot, inflamed eczema, it may be more pitta. If it's a very oozy, wet, damp eczema, it may be more kapha. And according to the imbalance, it has to be treated. And so also with the skin, there's a digestive element in that the skin clears toxins, and if toxins arise in digestion. So watch out for the next two lectures and make sure you're taking really good care of digestion, won't you? Um, any flavored soup for the kapha season, Sinead? And well, the kapha season is uh, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha influence time. And so times of the day, times of the season, times of life, which we will come to in the course, but we're right in the middle of the Kapha season now. And the Kapha tastes, the balanced Kapha, are the pungent, the hot, and the bitter tastes, and the astringent, dry, puckering tastes, like you get in an apple or in pomegranate or dryness. So those are the specific tastes. And what would be out of balance for acne? Acne is inflammation of the skin, so pitta will be there, and it's oozing. It's like kapha is there, it's moist as well.
Don, just to interrupt you there, sorry, just to let everybody know, everybody should subscribe to our YouTube channel because we did a webinar on kapha last week. It was about an hour and a half to 2 hours long. It was an absolutely brilliant webinar on the kapha season. And so people should subscribe to our YouTube channel because we're going to put these up, these quick Q&A on the YouTube channel, but also there's a whole load of different videos already up there. And there's lots of cookery course videos up there as well. And, you know, most of them are free. So you should definitely go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'll send the link out to it tomorrow in tomorrow's email with this. And as I say, we did a kapha webinar last week. So, and this being kapha season, it would be good for people to review that particular webinar. Sorry for interrupting you now.
Well done, Noel. Nice one. And yeah, as was it Rajvinder pointed out, there's the questionnaire there for people who want to do a questionnaire to get a little bit more clear about their Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So, yes, oh, there's a question about balanced doshas. That 33% of each type. No, when we'll be doing more of the constitution in the further lecture, but when we're conceived, there's a particular proportion of doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, which is like our innate nature for life. And then if we are that innate nature, for example, if we're more Vata and Pitta in nature and less Kapha, then if we are that right proportion, we're balanced. If, however, we get an excessive Vata for us, for me, an excessive Pitta for me, or an excessive Kapha, we're going out of balance. So I should stop and let the other two doctors take over.
Maybe Dr. Nahid, go ahead.
Thank you. So there's a question about constipation. I think Dr. Rajvinder has answered that question that that's a water condition. And usually the constipation, the major two causes can be dehydration. And the second reason, which is the important one, is the disturbance in your digestive system. So if you're not passing your motions properly, you have to understand that there is something going wrong within your digestion and the assimilation and the metabolism of your food. So you need to add more digestive spices like ajwain, like cumin, to facilitate the vata to pass down and to do motions on a daily basis, and keep yourself hydrated so that you can pass easily.
There's a question there. Someone said they get very poor sleep. So really sleep is essential for good health. I mean, there's such great things go on when you sleep. Most people need a good 8 hours sleep every night. And there's all sorts of cleaning and detoxification and all sorts of mental processes go on when you're asleep. I would advise that person to go to our YouTube channel. Dr. Brennan has a 30-minute lecture on the power of sleep. and some of the things you can do to help you get to sleep and you know, bring yourself back into balance. But if you're not sleeping, there's an imbalance there. And generally it tends to be a vata imbalance, too much movement. So there are suggestions like not watching too much TV late at nighttime, maybe giving your feet a sesame oil massage at nighttime, learning a meditation technique, and just generally doing things that can, you know, a set of yoga asanas, doing those things, anything that will calm the system down and settle the system down. But going forward, you need to get grips with that problem, because sleep is such an essential thing. But I think a great place for you to start would be Dr. Brennan's video on YouTube. Just
also we're gonna talk about on the, I think, the coming videos about the golden milk with nutmeg and ashwagandha. They are wonderful spices for sleep. And I think handful of pistachio nuts are very good as well to eat in the evening. They are kind of sedative and they help with the sleep. So there are a lot of wonderful kind of tips you can do. Lots of people I notice are asking about their ailments and they're looking for answers. Honestly, there is no quick fix. When we do the consultation, we take the full history of the person. For example, if I take the migraine, why migraine is there? Migraine is mainly pitta related. And somebody said not to take 5C, which I guess is the 5 citrus, and citrus are the sour taste, which is related to pitta. If you eat too much of sour, it increases pitta and it increases acid and automatically lead to migraine. But migraine could be anxiety, stress related. So we need to take the detail of the person physiology, what is going on. Is there vata, is there pitta, is there kapha going on? And you could be a vata dominant person, but you may have pitta imbalance because of your diet and lifestyle habits. So sorry, we won't be able to provide a quick fix for that, but we try our best. So just there's somebody asking about the Ehlers and the hypermobility syndrome. You need to do a lot. This is vata and pitta related problem, and you're saying it is genetically. So the one tip I can give you is we have a joint soothe massage oil, and if you start massaging with that, that will bring the inflammation down in your joints, and that will help with the pain or what other symptoms are associated with the syndrome. So I think so you try that, but there are a lot of wonderful other anti-inflammatory and vata balancing remedies. So I say you try to talk to one of the doctor and see if they can help you more on that.
Okay, that's a brilliant point, Dr. Rajvinder. Thanks for bringing that up, because I mean, this is a course on Ayurveda over 8 lessons where people can get an understanding of this healthcare system and realize that there is other ways of treating your health rather than just going out and taking a pill to suppress the symptoms, you know. But it's not a personal consultation that we're doing here, and we're not promising anybody that we're going to cure your illnesses or anything like that. This is the beginning of a journey for you. And Ayurveda is a lifelong process. You're just learning and learning all the time. So stick with it and bear with it. And a lot of people are not going to have their questions answered because there's 500 people on the call. So there's no way we're going to be able to answer all those questions. But don't worry about it. You get more and more and more knowledge as you go on, and you know the answers yourself as you go on. And then if you do decide if there's some serious issue that you have that you want to address in an Ayurvedic way, then you organize a consultation, a private consultation, and you have a plan put together by one of the Ayurvedic doctors. There's a very interesting question there from Mary Therese Lowndes, I think her name is. The old corporal punishment system in schools damaged people for life. How do you recover? Brilliant question, because not only the old corporal punishment, but we see a lot of very negative things went on in all sorts of different homes. And I'm sure it's not just in Ireland, it's all over the world. I would say one of the best ways of dealing with those type of issues is meditation, is a practice a good meditation technique. I personally practice transcendental meditation, which I learned back in 1989, and I found it a very, very invaluable system. I didn't suffer from corporal punishment in school. It was coming to an end. But when I speak to my father, it puts hairs in the back of your neck when they talk about the punishments that were lashed out to children. And you're right, it's completely damaging, you carry that with you. But I think meditation is one of the great ways of getting rid of that damage, because that divinity, that field of being that's inside of everybody is untouched by anything. It's beyond the senses. It's beyond the field of action. It's the core of your nature. It's like the sap that manifests itself as all the different parts of the flower and the tree, but it's beyond all of those influences. And that's a real lively aspect of your nature that's there. And to be able to contact that through a proper meditation technique is a great thing. And it brings about great healing, because that damage, the issues are in the tissues, as everybody knows. So when we have a mental thing, it creates a physical reaction. We absolutely know that. So I would say meditation, learn a good meditation technique may help with that. But again, it might be a long process as well, but at least it's on you're set off on the right path, you know.
There's a questions there about migraine, and migraine tends to be quite a pitta condition, but also a digestive issue. So there's both aspects to be taken care of. And someone suggested not taking artificial additives in foods, and absolutely right, because the liver has to try and clear those toxins, and they are very much provoke the liver and pitta. So that was a great idea. And questions then about turmeric, and turmeric would be fine for someone with gallstones and would be fine for someone with acne. And someone seems to have a red face, and there are a lot of suggestions in Ayurveda would be helpful, but it would be a matter of bringing pitta back down the body to where its location should be, which is the stomach area. And somebody asked about an elderly lady with shrinking kidneys, an elderly person with shrinking kidneys. That person would need a consultation. We couldn't comment on something just so blasé like that. That's significant. And the other thing was a lady who had a surgery, 82-year-old, and her digestion is off. Well, the next two lessons are very good about digestion, and maybe there's some tips there. But certainly that situation should be amenable to treatment because it's a mere digestive issue, and they're really very good on digestive issues.
I think, I mean, they need to look into pitta. So try to balance the pitta in the mother. So avoid pitta-related food, which will be acidic and all these artificial processed additives and all that. Sounds like could be the effect of the anesthesia that she can't eat the citrus fruits. So I think you look into pitta balance. I'm just going to take the question while I'm there from Vimila about the degenerative issues with the back pain and all. That's very vata related problem. So numbness, tingling sensation is all vata. So you need to balance the vata. And there are wonderful, we will be listening to the wonderful Ayurveda treatments in the coming videos. So there are nice Ayurveda oils for massage, and for Shirodhara is another wonderful treatment that help with the any issue related to anxiety, mind, sleep. So you're going to listen a lot of lovely treatments that are very beneficial for these complaints.
And there's a question about, is regular cystitis associated with any of the doshas? So anything, any health condition or any disease, it's obviously related to imbalance in any of the dosha. So cystitis is usually related to kapha imbalance. And adding to that, there is a question, how do you deal with gastritis? So gastritis is a very general terminology. Like few people use this term when they are having, you know, a lot of eruptions, like, you know, acid reflux kind of thing. Someone is suffering with kind of indigestion. So, you know, gastritis can be because of the imbalance of any of the dosha. It can be vata, pitta, and kapha, and the symptoms differ. If you're suffering with imbalance in vata, then you might feel a lot of bloated kind of, you're having a lot of burps. But if the pitta is imbalanced and you're suffering with gastritis, then it can be inflammation. There can be pain in your left part, the stomach part of the body, and along with that you have a lot of acid reflux. And if you're dealing with kapha, like imbalance in the kapha, then you can feel like, you know, heavy kind of sensation. You're not able to digest your food. Your digestion is really sluggish. So you really need to look into the matter really precisely what dosha is responsible, and then, you know, we can advise you further how you can rectify that by herbals, diet, and a few changes in the lifestyle.
Yes, and I feel that as we go on in the course, our answers can get more clear because people will have a greater understanding and have more of a perspective. There's which imbalance might someone more susceptible to mycotoxin illness? That's more a situation of the immune system getting disturbed, and again, it could be any dosha that might cause the disturbance. And again, the digestive system becomes incredibly important. And we know that from Western perspective with the microbiome, the bacteria in our gut have such control over our immune system. But Ayurveda's approach there would need to be to remove the toxins that are irritating the immune system to make people sensitive to those toxins. So related to vata imbalance, yes, certainly, and perhaps to move in the direction of balancing vata through the lifestyle and dietary measures that will be described as the course goes on. Go ahead, Richard.
And just Nina's question about the deep pigmentation. Nina, the kumkuma detail, the oil from saffron is actually very nice. And you can make a mask from turmeric and gram flour and use it regularly. That's just the basic tip. And another herb, manjishta, will be very good to put into this mask. So you look for kumkumadi oil and this mask that's good for the deep pigmentation. But you might need to look into your liver as well. So try to balance the heat into your liver. So some of the liver tonic herbs, they will be worth considering.
Right, will you put that into the chat line, the oil, because she won't pick
Okay.
it up.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, and shaking arms and legs related to stress, is it a vata imbalance? Of course, it's a vata imbalance because any movement which is going on inside your body, whether we are talking, moving hands and walking, cooking or reading anything, it's because of vata. So if your vata is not in balance, then you do excess of that work that has to be normal when the vata is in balance condition. You can focus on balancing your vata, like you can do a warm sesame oil massage in the morning before you take shower. You take a lukewarm shower. You can have golden milk at night before you're going to bed, and like you do less of the exercise, do not stress yourself much. These are the some tips which can help you to balance vata.
Okay.
And
Somebody is asking about cholesterol problems, basically, and definitely there are spices like turmeric and fenugreek that are helpful. There are foods that are also helpful, like that contain a fiber that helps your gut clear the excess oils or bile, which is taking the bad fats out of the body, but we tend to reabsorb it from the gut. So things like sweet potatoes and apples and oats are helpful. So there's foods and there's herbals as well that can help with cholesterol. But it tends to be slightly kapha because kapha is oily, and so the measures to reduce kapha were useful. There was again another question about the vaccine for COVID, and basically, would you go for anyone in particular? Well, you know, it's a question that you have two new vaccines, new technology vaccines, and one old technology vaccine. The old technology vaccine has been around for some time, so it's using a technology that was used for other vaccines and would seem to have a good safety record, and that's um, the Oxford one, the one that doesn't need to be stored at a low temperature. So that one just has more history behind it. The other two are totally new technologies. And those are RNA messenger vaccines, and it's that our confidence about them increases with the more millions of people that take them without side effects. So um, I think if you're concerned about COVID, then the vaccines are becoming available, and that would be my perspective on the three of them. So otherwise, you may just take what one comes your way.
We did a webinar, or you may take none if you decide to take none, if you're allowed to take none. We did a webinar on immunity 2 weeks ago as well. And again, that's up on YouTube. And actually, Dr. Brennan went in depth into the different types of vaccines that are there, and, you know, the RNA ones, the messenger RNA ones, and the old type. So if you're concerned about that, then I would go and look at that. But as Dr. Brennan says, the more people have them, have taken them, then we can see what side effects are coming from them, you know. So listen, I just want to do a few practical things. I want to give you a bit of homework before you go. We're getting up towards 9 o'clock here. The doctors can just take a look at some of the questions there, and I'll come back to them before we go. But I just want to show you something. I want to share the screen again. And
well, maybe you can talk about the online consultation somebody's asking.
Yeah, I'm going to do that now, Dr. Rajvinder. That's why I'm.
Yeah.
If I can get out of this. Okay, so what I want to do is take you to our website, okay? So our website is, you should be seeing it on the screen now, is ayurveda.ie, okay? So ayurveda.ie. Now, someone said in the chat they were having trouble signing up for this course. I'm not sure how they got the link, but anyway, if you go to services and you click on online course, that'll bring you in, and then that's where you can register for this course, okay? That's the 3 doctors there, and there's a registration button there. You just click that button, and then you'll be asked for your email address and your name, and that's all you need to do. Then you're going to get the Zoom links every week, okay? Now, someone else said they couldn't find the test, the dosha test. So just go over to this menu option, Ayurveda here. And this is where you need to spend the next, if you get some time tomorrow reading this, okay? You have an introduction to Ayurveda there. You have a body type test that you can do there, which, you know, it asks you certain questions about your body weight and your temperament and all that, and it gives you a score, a Vata Pitta Kapha score. So that'll begin to give you a bit of an idea of what dosha you are. Now, it's not definitive, but it'll certainly begin to give you a bit of idea. And then there's 3 different things on Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So you can go in there, let's say you want to find out what Vata is, okay? And you can read, you know, the qualities of Vata, what it governs, when it's out of balance, when it's in balance, all these things. So all that information, there's a wealth of knowledge on this website. There's just so much stuff on this website. Like there's all these different health advices like acid indigestion, allergies, anxiety, blood pressure. You can read up about them. Like it's just a huge website. So, you know, you have to go looking to find something on it, okay? And then if I bring you back to the home page, someone else was asking about maybe having consultations with the doctors. So there's all the details on the right-hand side of online or in-person consultation. So Dr. Brennan and Dr. Naheed can be booked online, and Dr. Rajvinder, you just give her a ring or send her an email and she can be booked there. So that's the website. It's a huge resource of information. It's just ayurveda.ie. I'll stop the share. You should go to that website if you want to read up and start doing a little bit of homework to understanding a bit more about Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Now, when I said earlier on that, you know, everything in the manifest universe is made up of the 5 elements, earth, air, fire, water, and space, which have a very unique combination in you that makes your individual physiology. But what you've got to understand is that it's not just you that's made up of earth, air, fire, water, and space. It's everything in the universe that's made up of earth, air, fire, water, and space. So everything is either bringing you balance or imbalance, and it's not the same for everybody. So this question is just for the new people. The old people will have heard this before, and this is just to explain how simple Ayurveda can be, okay? Let's say you're a Pitta nature. You have a lot of fire in you. You're very prone to getting angry. You can't stand being in queues. You're shouting at other drivers when you're driving your car. You're screaming at your kids. You have a lot of fire and heat and impatience in you. And you decide that it's time to buy a new shirt. Let's say it's a man, okay? Well, women wear shirts as well, but you decide to buy a new shirt, okay? And you go into the shop and they only have 2 shirts on the rack. And one is a red shirt and one is a blue shirt. So you're a Pitta person. Which of those shirts is going to suit you? Which is the one that you should buy? So the new people that are on the course can start putting your answers into the chat box if you feel you know the answer, okay? Okay, so a lot of people are getting this right. Okay, some people are not, but there's a lot of blues. Blue is a cooling color. It's a cooling color. That's why sometimes Dr. Brennan would recommend to someone who's a Pitta person just to take a walk by the seaside, to calm themselves down, to get away from whatever it is, all the things that are going on. So blue is a very cooling color. Red is a very inflaming color. It's a fiery color. So red colors would be good for Kapha people. If you're Kapha, if you're dull, if you've got, you know, if you're a bit lethargic, all of those things, if there's a dullness there, if you find it very hard to motivate yourself, then red is a great color to wear. Red is a very good color to wear in this season. Everything is so doomy and dark and everything like that, that bright reds and oranges are great colors to wear. But blue is a very cooling color. I'm wearing a blue shirt. I'm a very Pitta person. I've lots of Pitta in me. If that Pitta goes out of balance, it manifests itself in impatience and anger and all those things, but you keep it in balance. So you keep it in balance through all the foods and the lifestyles and the colors and all that. So that's just a simple example. Green is a very good color for Vata people. red is the bright colors are very good for kapha, and whites and blues are very good for pitta people. So that's just an example of what can bring you balance and imbalance. But everything out there is either bringing you balance or imbalance. And that's what you're going to learn over these 8 weeks, over these 8 lessons, over the coming courses. So we're getting very, very close to the end. What about black? Black is not a great color for anybody to wear, to be honest. It's not a recommended color for people to wear. So white colors are very good. White colors tend to be very good for everybody as well. White is a very uplifting color there. Dr. Rajvinder is wearing white there, you know, so that's a very uplifting color as well. But specifically blues, cooling color, red's a heating color, and green is a very calming color as well. So I'm going to hand back to the doctors if there's any questions that they feel they want to ask before we finish up for this evening. Anna Carey is putting in lovely messages in there, so she's listening to us all well. So thanks, Anna. Good to have you back on the course, you know.
There's a lot of questions about books to read, and a question about child's doshas. There's a wonderful book about family, children, Dharma Parenting, Dharma, Dharma Parenting by Wallace. That's Dr. Wallace you see on the tapes there. Dr. Wallace and Travis, Travis. And a general book for ladies would be A Woman's Best Medicine, A Woman's Best Medicine by Nancy Lansdorf. Nancy Lansdorf.
Lonsdorf, I think. Is it Lonsdorf?
I think the people are looking for more easy one just to start with. So your book, Dr. Brennan.
Dr. Brennan has a fantastic book, Live Better. It's a great, great introduction.
If you're total new to Ayurveda, to start with simple.
Completely new, yeah. It's a great book. It's on our website as well. It's on the book section of our website. We don't tell to sell books. There's so many of them. We just let people go to their bookstore or Amazon or their favorite bookseller. But Live Better is a great book to start with. We can give out recommendations. Maybe in one of our emails, we'll give out some recommendations. There are any of Dr. Nancy Lonsdorf's books, or Ageless Woman. They're just great. Woman's Best Medicine. They're just great, great books. And Ayurvedic Healing by Sharma and Clark is also another good book.
And I think that if they wanted to get my book, they'd have to get that through website.
You can buy it on the Ayurveda website. It's not an expensive book. I think it's €8 or €9 something.
Thank you. Yeah, Shiv said this is a gorgeous book. Thank you, Shiv.
Thank you.
Lovely pictures in it and lovely colors, and a very uplifting book. A very great book for someone just starting off. And I just want to repeat for the new people, don't be overwhelmed. It may seem very abstract, and this becomes very, very concrete and can give you the information to have a really healthy life and a really strong immune system. Regardless of vaccination or what your view is on them, you know, COVID is one virus out of how many viruses that are out there. There are more viruses in our body than there are bacteria, and there's more bacteria in our body than there are human cells. So viruses are everywhere, and your immunity is dealing with these things all of the time. You wouldn't last 2 seconds without strong immunity. It's dealing with so many things that are coming along. So Ayurveda will empower you to have very, very strong immunity to deal with all the things that life can throw at you. But don't get overwhelmed by all the knowledge. Just bear with it. No point in getting stressed out. This is not about getting stressed. This is the opposite to getting stressed. It's about getting de-stressed. So just listen easily and just take the knowledge in, whatever comes in.
And after 4 weeks, you will be answering the questions like some of our old people are doing it already.
Anybody put into the...
There's another question about the vaccine. To avoid the side effects, or what we would recommend is that you take perhaps Amrit Kailash. You take a tonic for your immune system for a couple of weeks before and a week after. So that tonic Amrit Kailash is available from Noel. And it's that if your immune system is strong, then you get a good immune response and have a better result from the vaccine, but it also is protective to you. The other thing is, somebody asked for 3 simple tips. Well, tonight's talk was really about the first tip, and tomorrow's, next Thursday's talk is about the second tip. The first tip is actually to meditate, to get back in touch with that divine essence of your being and allow your mind to quieten to that silent presence, which is, you know, the creator of your own physiology, actually. And so would suggest the TM. The second thing would be digestion, which we'll be going into in great detail over the next 2 lessons. And thereafter the routine, which will be gone into after that. So don't, expect that you get the whole of Ayurveda in the first lesson. Be patient with us and work with us. And you think you'll enjoy the course as you gain more wisdom over the next couple of weeks.
It's great to see so many people back here doing this course again. And that's a testament to the fact that this knowledge sinks in and people realize, okay, I haven't learned everything from the first course. I need to do it again. And people learn more and more and more as they go along. So that's fantastic. Emma Maher says, I loved every minute of this class. Thank you all so much. Can't wait for the next one. Okay, fantastic. We still have 432 people on, and it's hard to keep people's attention for 5 minutes these days. So keeping 432 people's attention for an hour and a half is a testament to the brilliance of the doctors that we have on here this evening and the video that we had earlier on. So listen, thanks a million for that. And sorry we didn't get to answer all of your questions. I see something about multivitamins there. Ayurveda is not big into recommending vitamins. It really says that you should get what you need from your food. However, the food that we get these days can be very depleted. We do sell some vitamins. They tend to be food state vitamins as opposed to synthetic vitamins. Most of the vitamins you'll buy in shops are chemicals. They're made from petroleum. You may not know that. You may have known that, but we don't tend to sell them. We tend to sell food state vitamins, but they're not the answer really. Get your vitamins and get your supplements from the food that you eat if you can get good quality food, and we'll be talking about that a lot in the next few courses, So namaste, everybody. Thank you very much for coming along and joining us. A big thank you to our doctors. You'll get the link on Thursday morning. If you haven't got it by 1 o'clock, drop me an email. Try not to leave it too late to drop me the email. My pitta goes out of balance at 25 past 7 when I'm trying to deal with all the emails coming in. But anyway, we'll see you again on Thursday night, and I'll send out the link for this so you can review it on YouTube, because obviously lots and lots of information. So Dr. Naheed, I'm not sure if you're still there. A big thank you for joining us from India this evening. Dr. Rajvinder, a big
thank you
from Lisbon. And as usual, Dr. Brennan, a font of knowledge for us this evening. And thanks very much for sharing all your wisdom.
For organizing us.
No problem. See you, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye. Catch up with you soon.
Please well.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.